Happy Monday. How you doing? Chilly this morning, 46 degrees. Hoodie time. In the afternoon now it's getting up to like 70, 71. Then, t-shirt time. Good old New England, man. Like they say, you don't like the weather, just fucking wait a minute, So, I'll tell you about, the generation gap. Yesterday told you about the Starsky and Hutch Torino that I put off for far too long. And now that it's, I put it where I can see it, it'll be a constant reminder. It'll inspire me. Like I said, there's a time and a place for everything. I'm patient, So you said, proper planning and preparation. I need a glue, paint kit. And then, after I did that video, I went and looked at it. I says, well, do I really need everything, Because I didn't use, I got that paint kit. I got so many colors. I didn't use any white. I didn't use any red. I didn't use any yellow. I used a little bit of silver. I used mostly black. The blue, I had that nice shade of a royal blue that I hardly touched. The only thing I took from that was when I did the engine on the Ho Mary GTO to get it that Pontiac blue, that light blue. I know in some years they did go to a real dark, like a navy royal blue. But in those years it was a lighter blue, not a powder blue, not a bright blue, somewhere in the middle. So I used that. I toned it down with some white. It took me 3 tries until I got it, the correct color, and that's what I did the engine with. So I said, well, one thing I didn't understand about this was, I'll show you. They come, some of them come molded in color. Some are all white. Everything is white. Like on the GTO, on the cover, it was blue. Real nice blue. Even though I knew I was going to paint it green anyway. So it really didn't matter. I opened it up. Everything was white. Everything. Except for the chrome plated pieces, trim pieces, and the wheels and shit like that. The rims. So the one thing I used the most of was black. I used quite a bit of white. The Z28 came in that was molded in that Hugger orange, as it's called. Everything. I wanted a white interior rather than black. I think the white, because I put the white stripes. I had the option of black stripes or white stripes. They had 2 different sets of decals. I went with the white. I like that Hugger orange with the white. So I went with a white interior. So I used a lot of white, but I knew I wasn't going to need any white for this. Plenty of silver. Yellow, I didn't even touch. The red, I never touched. I had some colors that I haven't touched. They were still unopened. I said, well, I really don't need a whole paint kit. What do I need? So I looked at it. And I knew I only had about that much black because all the, you get the chassis, the frame, suspension. They come, like Z28, everything was in orange. I had to paint everything all black. I used a lot of black. Ho Mary GTO. A lot of black on all those parts. This here, body red, a lot of red parts here. This is what kind of freaked me out, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I had a bigger question: why did they do this, but they didn't do that? Well, the frame, chassis, black, great. I don't have to paint it black. A lot of other parts, exhaust, radiator, all that. Great, I don't have to paint it black. Great, I don't have to paint it black. Maybe I will have enough black left after all, because I'm not going to need much of it, right? Then you get, your plated trim pieces. All the decals, the stripes you put over it. But then I see this. And here's why I'm like, well, if they did all this in black, the interior is supposed to be black. Why did they injection mold all the interior in red? Interior, seats, door panels. In fact, this was kind of funny. remember when I first opened it up, I'm looking for bucket seats. I'm like, how come it only has the front? You know, how come it only has the rear seat? Because a lot of them you got to put in the rear, you know, bench seat and in the front. But I'm like, I didn't get the bucket seats with this, and I realized the bucket seat's already there. This had a bench seat in the front. You know, okay. But why is it red? So now I got to paint all this black. Now I don't have enough black. All I needed was black after all. And I checked out the brushes. You know, I had a couple, but after using them so many times and cleaning them and thinner, they get dried out. They get like all frayed, and you're trimming it with a scissors to get a clean edge. You get straight strokes when you're painting. You don't have those little strands hanging out, leaving streaks. So I said, fuck it. I'll get some brushes too. And the glue. So I go to my daughter's house. Got there about 1:30. Auntie Bill was still getting ready to leave for work. She goes in from 2 to 9, sometimes 10 on a Sunday. So got to her house around 1:30. Patriots game had already started at 1. Well, actually, by the time kickoff, it was like 1:15. I got there, it was like just getting into the first quarter. But I spent, you know, the time, you know, playing with my Benji and talking with my daughter and my son-in-law, Ryan. It's kind of funny how generation gap, you know. But there. We're talking and shit. So anyway, after I'd done the video yesterday, I said, shit, I don't need to get a whole paint kit. All I need is black. And it don't have to be testers. Any black acrylic. You know, any black acrylic will do. You know, and I don't need, I'm not going to buy a fucking gallon or something. You know, I'm sure they have something at Home Depot. All those. At the same time, I'll get some fucking brushes and glue. I'm quite sure they have, you know, may not be testers, but, you know, plastic, cement, you know. I know some guys have done it with crazy glue. I've never done that. I think I was afraid that sometimes, you know, you go to put something on, it's not quite right. Once you get that crazy glue on there and you stick it on, then you're fucked. It's going to stay there. So I really don't trust myself with crazy glue. I can get that anywhere. So I figure, fuck, at least with the regular, you know, plastic cement, plastic glue, you get that time to make a little adjustment until it sets and dries for a few hours, you know. So I knew I had what I needed for the engine block on this. Molded in black. That blue in the bottle is the actual correct shade of that darker Ford blue. I was all set except for black. So anyway, I already knew what I was going to get. So we're at my daughter's, we're talking. I'm playing with my Benji. I love that little guy to death. And my Artie. I can't wait, man. See both my grandsons for Halloween, what my daughters do with them. Can't wait even more till Christmas, you know, Thanksgiving. That's what life's about, man, you know. That's what life's about. For some people. I guess for others, life for them is, their life is all about YouTube and nothing else. Because they don't have anything else, you know. Anyway, we're talking shit. And I don't know how it came up. I was telling Ryan. And he says, hey, I'm going to be making another model, you know, again sometime, you know, going into the fall, now into the winter. Oh, yeah? I says, yeah. You know, the two I got in my den, the GTO and the Z28. He goes, yeah, those are cool. I says, I have another one I've had for almost a year. A friend sent me. You know, never got around to doing it, so I got to get a couple of things. He says, oh, what kind is it? I says, generation gap. He's 30. I says, the Starsky and Hutch Torino. He looks at me like a deer in the headlights. He says, what's that? My Uncle Brian left the hangover, you know. I started laughing. He said, you know that show used to come on TV, Two Undercover Cops? They had a red Torino with a white stripe. They had aluminum slotted mag wheels on it. They were undercover cops like in New York. He looks at me, he goes, no. I didn't realize that show was in the 70s. It wasn't even thought of at that time, right? I says, and then it gets worse. I says, it was kind of like Miami Vice that came along after. He goes, what's that? I said, you know, that black cop and the white cop in Miami, and they rode around the Ferrari. They were undercover cops. Looks at me and goes, no, I don't know that one either. See how a age generation gap, some people know things others don't. Due to the time era that they were born and grew up in. So I says, yeah, I just got to get a couple of things. I got to get some glue. I got to get some black acrylic paint. And I'm going to pick up some brushes. Oh, where are you going to get that? And I says, I'll probably go to Home Depot. All Lowe's. I says, in fact, when I leave here after, I'll probably head up there. Seeing it's fresh on my mind. He says, hey, if you want to go now, I'll go with you. Something I was thinking about getting, you know, I'll get it at the same time. So I says, okay. I says, hey, Brett, we'll be back in a little bit. So we leave, go to Home Depot. So I found a black acrylic paint, $2.99. I got a shitload here. I got more than enough what I need for that. And, you know, little things, sometimes, you know, touch up little nicks, something that's black, you can touch it up, you know. Brushes, $5.99, 10 brushes. And these have caps on them that have angle tip, all different sizes. A few, I don't know if you can see, they're so fine, the little detailed shit. They got caps, so after you clean them, you put the caps back on so the air doesn't get them all dried out and brittle and shit, you know what I mean? $5.99, $2.99, can't go wrong. So, but I forgot to get the glue. I started looking at other shit I wasn't gonna buy. But just, you know, looking. And I forgot to get the glue. It's no big deal. I know they have it. I know where to go. There's no big rush. I'm not going to be doing that, you know, this month. So it'll be, you know, later, you know, after October, going into November. Or if I want to be lazy, I'll just fucking go online and order real testers, you know, and it'll be here in 3 days, you know. So that's about it. So what's going on? How's Jabba doing? Yeah, it was funny. I heard he's out spending money on shit that he's going to keep hoarding, you know. I thought he was trying to, you know, not bring more shit into his house because he's got to pack up and get his part, and, you know, he's going to be out by the end of the month and all his stories, and, you know. How was he over the weekend? Was he living on YouTube again, going live? Any new stories? I haven't heard much. I really haven't. Like I said, the latest I heard was, well, I think the only thing I heard was, I don't know what day it was, whether he did it Friday or Saturday. I forget. You know, he was buying more kids' Tinker toys and shit. Because it reminds him of when he was young. Yeah, he never grew up, you know. He has a childlike mentality, childlike behavior, spoiled brat mentality, temper tantrum pulling mentality, you know. He has no personality. You know, maybe it's no wonder he has no friends around there that actually he'll hang out with, you know, on a Saturday or a Sunday at night, afternoon. They'll go visit him, he'll go visit them. He's there by himself, staring into a phone screen, hoping somebody talks to him, hoping somebody gives him attention, hoping somebody gives him sympathy, hoping to have someone to argue with, hoping to have someone to go off on a rant about. That's what he lives for. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's about it. So I got what I need except for the glue. But, you know, does that make any sense to you? I mean, the interior, you know, it's black. You know, look, it's black. You know, if they knew how to mold the body in the correct red, you knew how to mold all that other shit in black. The interior is supposed to be black. Why the fuck didn't they mold the interior black? If they had, I would not have had to go out and buy this. I would have had just enough. I wouldn't have needed any black at all, actually. You know, any other little things I need, you know. The only thing I'm going to use out of that paint kit to test is the blue for the engine and silver, you know, for the transmission. That's about it. So, hope you had a good weekend. Hope you had fun. Hope you stayed safe. You know, have a great day today. Hope you have fun. Hope you stay safe.